You know, done.
Abibitumi.
Okay, thank you for that. Are you around? She's going to give us a submission on family, community, nation, power, the importance of detoxification. That's Dr. Sharita. Can everybody hear me? Dr. Sharita, are you online? Are you around? Yeah, she's busy.
Hi, sorry, I was muted.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Just to give a brief and very informal introduction to Dr. Sharita, her work has been very fundamental in the wellness space in Ghana for a number of years now. She hosts a festival out in this region on an annual basis, and she's a contributor to a lot of programs around wellness in Accra as well. So I'm sure she's going to speak more about her work. And for those of us who are not familiar with her, we're about to get familiar. So, Dr. Sharita, you have the table.
Okay. Yes, peace and love, family. It's early still for me over here. I'm in Los Angeles. It's 6. I have a morning voice on. I want to say I'm very honored to be a part of the very first Abibitumi Black Power Conference. And
sorry to interrupt, Dr. Sharita. Are you able to start your video?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Then we'll proceed.
I won't be able to video. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really glad to be a part of this event. I know it's been a lot of work. I know how much work it takes to get into these events, and I know everybody's pulling their hair out, putting tampons, and we really appreciate all that you guys do to make sure that we see the liberation of African people in our lifetime. We're in a manifestation of it, and I feel that we will definitely see it, and we're witnessing it, our liberation. And one of the things that I feel is the most important, and it's not to put anybody down, not that anything else is not important, but at the end of the day, our health is our true wealth. If we don't have our health, we can't do anything. There's some people who can't be there today or attend just because they're not well. When you don't have your health, you're just not able you're not able to live your life to the fullest. And it interrupts the progress. And I feel that it has really interrupted the progress in this African movement to our liberation. So, about detoxification, and I think we have, even I would rather have more questions than presentation. So, as far as detoxification is something, detoxification is basically cleansing the body, the organs, and the systems of the body. Yes.
Are you able to show video or?
No.
Am I able to show video?
Yes.
So our colleague has responded to that. She won't be able to, but it's going to proceed as we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, so detoxification is something that's recommending to do, well, it's the cleansing of the body, the organs, and the systems of the body. And a lot of call this of eating clean, eating vegetarian or plant-based. Sometimes we get to the point where we're eating things that is still not in balance. We're still eating things that are very processed, and processed foods are very, very addictive. And when it comes down to being disciplined, I'm coming to find with myself and friends and my clients that it's very hard. It's like, what is it? Why? It's because of the addiction. And why do we have addiction? It's because the things that we are eating is not necessarily food. Basically, once something is food. So if you're not eating something that already comes wrapped by the Most High, like a banana, the banana peeling is the wrapping, the orange, the peeling is the wrapping, then from there you start to eat foods or eat processed items that has less and less nutrients. And so we get to the point where, and I'm guilty myself, where it comes down to eating even vegan junk food. You know, I love vegan chocolate chip cookies and oatmeal cookies. And there's times when I'm sitting and I'm just watching a movie or we're younger, you know, even if you had a cookie jar in your house, you were only allowed maybe to get one cookie, and that was with permission. From going too far deep into your addiction, because the more you eat these things that are comforting or that make you feel good, and then when you have an absence of that, then you start going into from pleasure to pain. So the more pleasure you get, and then you like that pleasure, then more pain comes. And then when the pain comes, you want to go back to do something to give you pleasure. And that's what ends up causing the addiction. And one of the things that we have to do to get through addiction is look at, okay, what are we addicted to? What is it? I know it's not good. It's not, and even if it's vegan, it's still not good to have too much sugar. So what happens is, I have to say, okay, I have to take time to focus on actually what I'm doing. I have to write down, okay, this is what I like eating, and then on the left side, I will write down foods I will eat. It's really good to eat something like like raisins, or dried pineapples, or dates, something that's kind of extremely sweet, that's natural. And what happens is, if you can do that for a week or two, then you'll see that you don't have the same cravings for the really sweet processed foods. And these are just different things that I have my clients, them to really get a grip on and get an inventory on what they're eating, and it also helps get a grip on their addiction. Now usually when it comes down to addiction, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, or whatever, it takes anywhere from 2 up to 4 weeks of your body back in balance, or what they might call homeostasis, where the pleasure and pain is at balance. And so, but in order to speed up that process, because if you're addicted to something, 4 weeks is a long time unless they have you somewhere, when you don't have access to that particular item. So one way to help speed up that is to do a detox, to cleanse your system, purify your blood, pull out the mucus out of your system, and pull out yeast, especially yeast, because yeast is something that's really something that gives you a strong craving for sugar. And once you cleanse the system, then you'll see the body start to go back into balance, and a lot of those cravings that you have for anything, it just starts to diminish, and it just makes it easier for you to get back on path and to be disciplined. So with detoxification, you want to take things like, of course, I'm going to push our company, New Body Products, And we have herbs in there that would help to cleanse the colon, kidney, liver, and spleen, but also it does more than that. So the colon or help to move the bowels. We have mullein that would and fenugreek that would help to pull out a lot of the mucus out of the body. We have chamomile that would help to balance, help with the nervous system or help to keep the body calm because of or help with the griping that people, a lot of times people go through griping when they're taking different laxatives. So this will help stop the griping and the cramping. And then we have dandelion that is really good for cleansing the liver and the blood. Eucalyptus is really good for the lungs, keeping the lungs open. Chaparral is a blood purifier. Yuba earth seed is another one that we have that is good for balancing the sugar levels in the body, and it also helps to take off a lot of the water weight from the body. And then we have cayenne pepper, which is used in a lot of herbal formulas with herbalists because it works as a catalyst to other herbs. And also the cayenne pepper is, and it does help to build the immune system. If you have different clots in the body, it helps with dealing with the clots. So that's something that you might want to use every 3 black walnut, cloves, these different ones that would help to cleanse parasites out of the body. And then you want to make sure that you're taking some kind of multi-nutrient that has like maybe sea moss and kelp, alfalfa, moringa. Over 130 pounds, it's 500 mils or 16 ounces. And you're doing that just for one day, and you're taking that down within a half hour to an hour with some lemon juice. And what that does is help pulls out lots of gallstones out of the system, and it helps to lubricate the walls of the colon, so that way that matter that you're not able to get out of the pockets of the colon just through a regular bowel movement. Food vegetarian, meaning that everything you eat is live. It's not cooked, it's not processed. You're just taking it straight from the way Most High cooked it, and then you go from there. So that's pretty much when it comes down to a plant. But when it comes down to a cleanse, that's basically what you want to do. And if you're a person that's never had any type of detox, one of the things I recommend just for you to have the experience is take 3 days of drinking a gallon of spring water, what we call mineral water in Ghana, and it needs to be spring water or that mineral water, because that's H2O. And then, I just wanted to talk real briefly about the water, because there's always an argument about water, right? And recently, this water presentation that Dr. Voss did, several times, and I remember watching him do it several times, and because there was always an argument about water, we should drink alkaline water, it should be distilled water, it should be purified water, all these different things. And so, whenever I have a question and I'm not sure about something, I go to nature first to find the answer. And that's going back and forth. So we did this part of the presentation. I remember being in Atlanta, and there was about 4 or 5 people on the panel, and they were talking about different things, but then water was came on the scene, and everyone everybody's jumping on it, right? So when it came down to the presentation, Dr. Goss says, I want to go last. I want to be the last one to go. And what he did was he took four fish bowls, and he put purified water in one, distilled water in another one, alkaline water in one, and then spring water in the other. And while everybody's doing their presentation, and then he put goldfish in each one, in each bowl. And while everybody's doing their presentation and talking about the alkaline and all these different things, it gets to the end, they come to him and then they say, okay, now you do your presentation. And then he just holds up the bowl that has the fish that is still alive. And then he pulls up the bowls of all the other fish, and they were all dead. And the only one that was alive was the one that was in the spring water, because that's the natural water. So if there's any argument about water, think about that. And the thing about it is, it wasn't just me witnessing it, it was several people, and it's just funny how this in 1 week, several people came in and talked about that they witnessed that experience. So, spring water, and that's the number one thing that you should do every day when you first wake up, is drink a glass or 2 or 3 of water. And the more water you drink in the morning, the more you're able to flush out a lot of the residue and the waste that you took on from the day before. And it also keeps you from having a buildup of a lot of waste in your system, because if we're eating 3 meals a day, we should be going to the toilet 3 times a day. But we're eating 3 meals a day, snacks, all these different things, and then we might be going once a day. Some of us are skipping days. And when it comes down to that, that's the stage of constipation. So if you're eating 3 times a day, and you're not going 3 times a day, then you're dealing with some level of constipation. And one of the things that you'll see is that one of the first symptoms that you see when it comes down to knowing that you need to cleanse is that you're just tired. You have fatigue and you just don't have the energy to do anything. You're not necessarily working hard, you're not up long hours or whatever. You're not, there's nothing to justify why you're so tired. That's letting you know that you have a lot of toxins in your system and your bloodstream and then your different organs, and you need to give it some reprieve, a break. And that's where the detoxification process comes in. So the water itself is something that's going to be the main part when it comes down to detoxification. No matter what program you do, no matter whose herbs you take, the water is always going to be the most important. Now, the next thing you want to make sure that, and this is something that I'm talking about things that are life essentials for the whole family. So every day, everybody should be doing the same things. The other thing you want to do are leafy greens, leafy vegetables, like kale and lefu, callaloo, moringa, spinach, boma, those different things. There's so many different greens, especially in Africa. I learned about so many different greens there. You want to eat foods that are very rich in vitamin C, like different citrus fruits like orange and lemon, lime, things like soursop, the alawumi wheat, a pineapple. There's alasa, which is something that's there in Ghana, or I think there's a berry called yoi. It's like a little black furry berry. Those are in baobab. Those are really high in vitamin C. You want to take garlic. Garlic is good for building the immune system. It helps to purify the blood. It's very tasty in your food. So it's something that you can take on a regular basis, but I would recommend in your food that even if you're cooking it in your dish, make sure you cut up some raw onions, at least 3 cloves, and then you put that on your food, raw. And then that's going to make a big difference in the medicinal quality of the garlic. For your protein, you want to take nuts. Of course, I'm speaking from a plant-based diet, so I'm not going to push people taking fish and chicken and different meats. And if you are eating those things, it's nothing to put anybody down, but it is something that we need to look at least taking a break from, different parts of the year. And so nuts will be something that is really good for building protein. It has monounsaturated single fats. It helps to lower the cholesterol, and it helps to prevent heart disease. Then you have the different peppers, which I talked about a little bit earlier. The pepper is really good for circulation. It's very, very high in a lot of different nutrients like iron and potassium and magnesium and things like that. And it's good for normalizing the blood pressure as well. And that's something also that's really good in food, and we eat it a lot in our African foods. And again, even though we take it and put it in the food that we're making, I still would recommend to sprinkle some cayenne pepper on top of your meals. Things like avocados and mangoes are really good for holding the fat on the body, because people sometimes they feel like they might be losing too much weight when you're going plant-based and things like that. But between the nuts, the avocado, and the mango, those things are really good for holding the weight or the fat on it. It doesn't make you fatter, it just helps you to maintain proper fat in the body. And it also helps to metabolize the proteins that you take in as well. And then you have things like dawa dawa, or what we call, which is really good for digestion, and it's also good for, it also helps, it's really good for diabetes too, because it helps to balance the sugar levels in the body. It's also good for eyesight, and it cleanses almonds. And that's and it's really tasty. So it's something that that's one of the things are also there in Ghana in different stores. Matter of fact, we do have a store. We just opened it. I want to mention in Obojo, East Legon, called New Earth, which is a version of New Earth that we have out here in Compton, California, that's been around since 1976, and we do carry those items there. And then coconut water. If you're in Ghana or different parts of Africa or Brazil or somewhere where there is coconut water, plenty coconut water, please take advantage of it, because the amount of money that I have to pay for coconut water out here in Los Angeles is crazy ridiculous. And if you're in a space where I think I can get a 1.5 liters there for $3, equivalent to $3. Over here, I'm getting a little bit less than a liter for how much money I have to spend over here. So I would say if you're there, make sure, I would say, they used to say tell you take 2-3 coconuts a day, but you never know how much water is inside, so you want to make sure you're doing at least a liter. You can do more, but do at least a liter of coconut water. And if you're a person that has diabetes, sometimes they say that the coconut water is sweet, that it makes the sugar go up. Well, make sure that you eat the food. Get the coconut that has what they call the hard coconut, the green one with the hard one, and make sure you have some food inside of it, so that way you're able to eat the flesh, and then the flesh has the fats in there that will help to balance out the sugar levels in your body. So if you're diabetic, eat the whole coconut. Don't just drink the water. Because it's very important to get the coconut in, because it's filled with they're saying it's a food that has a lot of electricity in it, and it gives a lot of vitality to the body, and it helps if you're sick or you're feeling like you're about to get malaria, about to get a cold or something like that. You can just take a few glasses of the coconut water, and then you can see almost right away you start to feel better, and then it takes you back in the right direction to healing. So let coconut water be a part of your everyday as well. And then you want foods that are also high in folic acid, oranges, different grains, beans. These are different ones that are high in folic acid. It helps with the development of a child or a fetus as the mother is pregnant, and is really, really good for heart health and heart disease. These people that are coming with heart problems that didn't have heart problems, whether it's a typical high cholesterol or whatever, but there's these heart palpitations where the heart is racing. We're having a lot of people coming to us with these issues, and it definitely has come out of COVID. If you had COVID or you've taken the COVID vaccination, then even me, I had COVID, and right after, I had a very, very hard time taking anything that might have any type of caffeine, whether it was chocolate or some green tea or what have you. And as soon as I take it, my heart starts racing to the point where I'm at the airport, about to get on a plane with my daughter, and all of a sudden, my heart started racing, and then I felt like I was about to pass out, and I couldn't get on the plane. I had to leave. I had to miss the flight. So I'm finding that there's a lot of people that's coming with these heart issues, and having this type of diet, doing a detoxification would help, with that, and of course, with exercise. And then we have essential fatty acids. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, we've just got like 2 minutes left of your segment, and we'd like to get some questions. We have a couple of questions.
Oh, okay, so you're not giving me 30 minutes. Okay, I see. Y'all don't want to talk about the health. I see you.
There's a few more minutes and then see what questions we have.
Yeah, I'll just say the foods that are essential fatty acids are good fats. So you have different fat oils that come from like flaxseed and hemp and things like that. And then you want foods that are very high in iron. And then you want foods that are different essential foods that you need for the family. And I'll go ahead and take the questions from them.
Those in the room get their questions ready. Let me get the two questions we put in this the first one, you already answered one actually during your submission, so that leaves two. What herbals do you recommend to treat tumors, that's cancerous tumors? That's the first question. I'll add the second one so you can answer it in turn. What's the best website or resource for our herbs and plants, etc., different languages of the country or continent? This question comes from yesterday. We had an elder giving us a tour just of the land around the Abibitumi headquarters here, and we're talking how there's so many words for each vegetable, each herb, just in one region and in one language. So is there something like a resource, a site, or apart from the picture, we can sort of have a whole list of what something is known by. But for those two questions, that one.
If you can find, you can take a picture, give you, a possibility of what things might be as well, and then you want to look for the best description of what you're looking at. But when it comes down to different herbs, when you get the name of it, you can Google it, and then try to see if you're able to find the botanical name for it, and then look it up that way. I can't say that there's any one site that I know of where you can go and it's going to give you the different names of oh no, I take that back. Wikipedia is pretty good with that. So for example, if I was looking, like I said, the dollar. which we know it here as different names that it might be called in different regions, different parts of the world. The only thing I find is when it comes to that I don't see Africa represented, as much. You see, I don't see Africa represented as far as the name or even giving credit. Like a lot of times you can look up Neem, and Neem is all over Africa, and you'll hear about it coming from out of India, and they won't give any reference to Africa. Another one was Noni. I can't remember what we call Noni in Ghana, but when you look up where does it grow and where it's cultivated, I wasn't seeing Africa at first. And I'm thinking it's just growing there naturally, So the best thing to do is, only something I can say is just to go to Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is not, sometimes it's a little, it's just a good source to go to at first, but then from there, do more research. Like once you get the name, then do more research. Once you get the botanical name, then do more research on it from there. Do several different sites. And I always say go to 3 different sites and try to find consistency so you can get your answer that way.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The question about herbs for cancerous tumors.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely the detoxification is one of the things that you definitely have to do. That's with any disease. But when it comes down to that, if you want to shrink the tumors and eliminate the cancer, you have to stop feeding it. Especially things like the fibroid tumors. Fibroid tumors almost has like a direct link, a tube that goes directly into the tumor, and it's just feeding off of the toxic foods and the toxic thoughts that you that goes into the body, and it's a direct link. And so the more junk food and toxic foods that you eat, the more the tumor will grow. And so what you want to do is start it by eating foods that are high in nutrients and eating and high in enzymes. And the best way to do that is to eat a lot of raw fruits and vegetables. Some of the herbs that you can use for shrinking tumors is like something like shaved grass, or you might know it as horsetail, comfrey, the root of the comfrey plant. In Ghana, there's something called a champong, that's something that's kind of similar to it. Aloe vera resin, if you want things like that, dandelion. And then garlic and cayenne. Those are some of the ones that would help with shrinking the tumors. And then you want to take in high amounts of things like moringa and alfalfa, a lot of the greens. And those things will help to give the body nutrients, but it's going to also starve the tumor. And then it will start to shrink. Another thing is to make sure that you're in a very peaceful environment and that you have people around you who are, and the people who are not, just like you detox in your body, you detox your environmental body as well. You detox your environment as well.
Thank you very much.
Of the short answer.
Thank you very much for the Sharita. I don't think we have any questions in the room, so thank you very much for your submission.
advocating against genetically modified organisms, as well as advocacy director of Vegetarian Association of Ghana. So, thank you very much. So, Mr. Bafo, you have about 25 minutes. Thank you very much. Abibitumi. Abibitumi. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm very conference. I want to thank the Cambon family for setting this precedence, and thank you all for finding time to support this very important initiative. I'm going to speak about the issue of food sovereignty and the importance to the African people, the importance to Africans in our struggle for liberation. Food is one of the most important elements of life. It is the sustenance of the body. Technological creations, you look at the fact that your eye is much better than the most sophisticated camera on the planet. Seeing with I don't know how many pixels the quality of your film, and if you want to record on your eye for a whole day in some kind of a pen drive, but you walk around with this thing every single day. Can you imagine the number of pictures you saw yesterday when you were here at the first day of the conference, or last week, or the year before, or since birth? How many files, how many heavy files you're working with in your brain? Just to tell you that the human body is a very, very extremely advanced creation, and a machine, you don't put water into a BMW or into a Kantanka, you put the fuel that it works with. And so you have to put in the right fuel if you want to get the right output from any machine. And if you consider our bodies as such, then organic food, if that's a word, you can't substitute. Let's make it a word. Black power. If you have the right input into the body, then just like we heard from the last speaker, the body works in a very, very efficient manner. But if you don't, then you're bound to come up with issues, and the manufacturer of the body already knew the kind of fuel you're supposed to take. That Africans, let's let my sister do a little short translation.
But there must say Openini Casafa, a DDA, and said, now a DDA freedom. Now, audition said, no, I said, the yes way. You should be a worship, you hear you one and yet, everyone will change the beer. If it's a when you watch a camera, be a war. And Sadia said, you over 12 beer, pushing here, and I'm going to for my end. You live at the other say, ye, over car, put the very slow movement. So actually, they are not very Petro Baby, no kind of such more cases and also said, and we be a man check the program. Say,
Covenant TV. Oh, the mom type around there. I don't get you.
So, food then is a highly important issue that we should all be concerned about.
Yeah, this
It's
so,
part of the essential
so that's the
element of liberation.
so you can tell
if you have to
if it be something.
beg someone to eat, or you have to wait
The
for
man
someone
who
to
make
feed
call.
you, you are not really free.
Yeah.
We are. There's a war on food systems, and you better believe that food is being weaponized. And if food can be weaponized, then it means that communities can be targeted. And if community can be targeted, then international organizations are using
laws that they make to appropriate the cultural heritage and assets of African peoples, African communities. So if you look at the dictionary, the definition of a seed is a unit of reproduction of a flowering plant capable of developing into another such plant. But my definition is that a seed is a living but dormant store of ancient, highly coded information, which is able to summon to life when it's exposed to the right environment. So you can imagine a seed is more advanced than this phone that I'm holding and this laptop. Because in your palm, you can hold the seeds of 75 baobab trees. And if you look at the size of a baobab tree and how many men it needs to even shake a little bit, you understand and appreciate what kind of technology you can minimize and squeeze into this small thing, which when given the right temperature, expose the right moisture, is going to germinate.
You can't